Welcome back. Marky Ramone, he speaks to RFL about his Lifetime Achievement Award, the introduction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and how the Ramones went from an underground punk band to an iconic band loved throughout the world. Now, talk about, though, the music. And you can give some numbers to some folks as to how many gigs you played and how many albums you put out and everything else. But for many people, it's three, that there's, 3 beats and a hook, right? But it's a lot more than that, right? But I mean this as a compliment. That's what they said about the Beatles. Right, I mean it as a compliment that you hear a Ramones song the first time and you got it,
Right, that's the whole idea, right? Short and sweet, to the point, the way rock was originally intended to be. And after a while, rock was overblown. It was fused with too many other genres. And the original intent of rock was what we wanted to go back to, which we did. So you have these clever melodies and choruses that are very memorable. And the songs last 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So that's what they achieved. And now they're being played on the radio more than ever. Yeah. In the beginning, we were misunderstood, and it took a while. It took a while to be appreciated, at least another 10, 15 years. So we just persevered, continued, toured, and we amassed a huge underground following, which became above ground, and now it's like the Ramones are on this pedestal that I still can't believe.
Well, Stephen King, obviously the prolific author, huge fan here. Yeah. And even though you had to get by the Yankee and Red Sox divide, you guys stayed with him, and actually, Pet Sematary, the famous book, you guys wrote the song in an hour or something, right?
Yeah, Dee Ramone, the bass player, was the main songwriter. Stephen King already wrote the book, and then gave it to the bass player to read. He wrote it within an hour. That's what was great about him. He had a very childlike, vivid imagination that he could just write a song 1, 2, 3. So he read the book, wrote the song, and it was on the soundtrack of the movie and on the album. So we were very grateful to be involved with that, because that brought us again to another level, which 4 years before that we were kind of was a little low, the low point. And that brought us back, being involved with such a great writer like Stephen.
The gamut that you ran, obviously we can speak forever about all the musicians that you both influenced, and also you consider contemporaries and friends in the industry. But beyond that, Anthony Bourdain. I mentioned your name, and it's funny, somebody says, oh, he's buddies with Bourdain. I saw him on the show, and isn't he the guy with the pasta sauce? You even have your own pasta sauce.
Yeah, I do. My grandfather was a chef at the Copacabana at a 21 Club. I used to watch him cook as a little boy, amazed at the way he used to use the knife and put all the ingredients together. He used to cook for a lot of movie stars in the day, in the 40s and 50s. And I eventually moved out of my parents' house. The cheapest thing to make was spaghetti, that's what I call it. And obviously the ingredients isn't as good as what I use now. And it was suggested to me I make my own, which I did. Took about 6 months, and that was the result. Marky Ramone's Brooklyn's own pasta sauce. And part of the proceeds goes to Autism Speaks, which I support as the charity. I'm in that position, which I'm proud of, and I'd like more people to get involved,
Well, somebody recently reminded me, Rock and Roll High School, of course, but you're also in The Simpsons. I mean, talking about coming full circle, right?
Yes, when you become a Simpson, that's when you know you made it. Mac Groening's a fan, and he wanted us on the show, and it was that simple. They would they came to the studio, in fact, and the audio, I had to do a few times over because of my Brooklyn accent, which is very noticeable. So I had to do my thing about my voiceover about 10 times. My one line was, gee, I think they like us.
Beyond that, though, I'm curious, your professional highlights. Now you're doing radio, you're doing all this, but Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Lifetime Achievement. For you, what's the crowning? Was it being in Cleveland and being able to look at where you guys rank with the best, where do you place things?
Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was great because you're amongst your peers, and we never thought in a million years that we would be up for that. We were inducted, and we were representing our genre, which is punk rock. And we always loved the Beatles. We always loved The Who, The Kinks, The Stones, the Motown sound, Phil Spector's girl group sound and stuff that he did. So here we are, 4 aliens that landed from another planet, were inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think it was 2002. So we were very grateful for that because we were acknowledged along with our peers.
Finally, if anything, since you've been starting this book tour, have even you been surprised by the reach of the Ramones?
Oh yeah, it's all over the world. I tour the world. I've been to, within the last year and a half, to China, to Russia, to Dubai, and I'm amazed. I mean, they love our Western culture. They might not necessarily agree with our politics, but they love our Western culture. And the tentacles of the Ramones just stretches everywhere. I mean, you know, it's amazing how it just got to that point. And it's evident in places that I do play there that I see it. We even played Vietnam. Who knew?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Ramones put out an album called Rocket to Russia, and I played there. If they were alive and they knew I played there, they wouldn't believe it, you know? So I play to a whole new audience now, and of course the older audience comes out, thank God they're there. And because they weren't around when the Ramones, when we retired. So I think it's the lyrical content and the energy that the band had that I continue to do with my group. So I see it firsthand, how influential this band is.
As we said, it's come full circle. Again, the book, and it's really good. Sometimes it's tough getting through these things. This one was hard to put down. Punk Rock Blitzkrieg. Marky Ramone, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Now, coming up next, everybody, we'll have a look at some headlines making news. Stay with us.